All right, let's talk about the world of automotive marketing. There's this new buzzword going around. It sounds like a magic bullet for getting leads, right? But what if I told you this quick fix is actually a trap? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something called the SEO sugar high, and I'll show you why it might just be the most dangerous trend for your dealership right now. So let's just jump right in with a pretty direct question. Is your dealership's SEO an addiction? Now, I know that sounds a little provocative, but stick with me here. It really gets to the heart of a huge problem we're seeing, one that's creating this powerful but totally false illusion of success in the auto industry.
And this problem actually has a name. We're calling it the SEO sugar high, and it's all about that promise of a quick, easy win from all these new AI-powered marketing companies. And just like any sugar high, man, it feels fantastic for a little while, right before that inevitable crash.
Okay, so what is this SEO sugar high really? Well, you know that rush you get when you see a massive, almost overnight spike in your web traffic? That's it. It's this super tempting illusion, and it's all fueled by just a flood of AI-generated content. And the scary part is, it creates this very convincing but completely false sense of victory. And you can see why the promise from these new vendors is so appealing, right? They talk about this thing called content velocity. Basically, the idea is that you can completely dominate search results just by flooding your site with hundreds of AI-generated articles. I mean, if you're running a busy dealership, who wouldn't want that kind of shortcut? But, like we said, every high has its crash. And in this case, the fallout isn't just a little headache. We're talking about disastrous business decisions that have very real, very long-term consequences. So yeah, let's unpack this a little bit. So here's what happens. It leads to this incredibly dangerous assumption. A dealer, they see their traffic numbers just skyrocket and they think, yes, our organic SEO is finally working. We can turn off our paid ads and save all that money. And this right here is a fundamental and super costly miscalculation. And this really just captures the massive disconnect perfectly. On one hand, the assumption is, hey, we're saving money. But the reality, especially if you're in a competitive metro market, the reality is you're basically making yourself invisible to the people who are actually ready to buy. You are literally forfeiting your seat at the table.
Look, this whole strategy just fails because it completely ignores the reality of what it's like to buy a car today. It's not some quick decision, right? It's a grueling 90 to 120-day journey. And during that whole time, those organic results are getting pushed way, way down the page by paid ads. And here's the key takeaway, the thing you really need to hear. You simply cannot out-SEO a competitor who's dropping 30 grand a month on ads to get in front of your customers. It's just not going to happen. And on top of all that, there's this other problem called content decay. Think about it. A generic AI spit-out article about, tire rotation, it loses its value almost instantly. It's not seen as real expert content. It just becomes digital noise, digital clutter that can actually hurt your website's authority in the long run.
Okay, so if this whole SEO sugar high thing is a trap, then what's the real solution? Well, it all starts with a major mindset shift. We have to rethink where marketing actually fits into the whole process of selling a car. And honestly, this next part is what really caught my eye. Here's the truth, and it might be a little hard to swallow. Marketing, even amazing top-tier marketing, is only about 5% of what it actually takes to sell a car. Just 5%. The other 95%, that's all operations. It's everything that happens after a customer clicks. So let me say that again another way. The best marketing campaign in the entire world cannot fix a broken operational process. It just can't. If you're 95% your operations is a mess, then that 5% you're spending on ads, you might as well just be throwing it away. The sale is won or lost in the operations, period.
So what's in that critical 95%? Well, it's all the fundamentals. We're talking about pricing your cars to the market, competitively. It's great merchandising, having killer photos and videos. It's having the right inventory in the first place. And maybe most important of all, it's having a disciplined 120-day follow-up process. These are the things that no amount of fancy marketing can ever replace.
All right, so if the SEO sugar high is the problem and getting your operations fixed is the absolute first step, what's the solution for the actual marketing piece? It's a really powerful concept, and it's called brand theater. And this quote right here, it just captures the idea perfectly. Brand theater isn't about advertising. It's the stage you set before a customer ever even speaks to a human. Think about that. It's not just another ad campaign. It's the entire environment you build, the whole vibe that gives a customer the confidence to even think about talking to you.
To put it simply, brand theater is the total sum of how a customer perceives your dealership. It's everything. It's like an ecosystem of trust, and it's built from every single touch point, your ads, your website, your online reviews, all of it, working together in perfect harmony.
And it's really made up of three key parts that all work together. First, you have paid media. That's your amplifier. It's what gets you seen. Then you have your SEO and your quality content. That's the foundation. It's what builds your authority. And then, and this part is absolutely crucial, you have your reputation and merchandising. This is the validation. It's the tiebreaker. It's that final thing a customer checks right before they decide whether or not to contact you.
So, the big question is, how do you actually build your own stage? Well, it takes a holistic go-to-market plan, one that breaks down all those old marketing silos and actually thinks about the customer's experience from start to finish.
Here's a simple three-phase framework to get it done. Phase 1 is the foundation. And what does that mean? It means fix that 95% first. Seriously, get your operations in order before you spend another dime on marketing. Then, phase 2 is construction. This is where you build your theater. You focus on reputation management and high-quality, human-centric content, not that AI spam. And only after those two things are done do you move to phase 3, activation. Now you can turn on the high-intent paid ads and a smart SEO strategy that back each other.
The whole point of all this is to create what we call an activated ecosystem, where every single part of your brand theater supports everything else. And listen, this isn't about spending more money. Not at all. It's about making every single dollar you're already spending work twice as hard for you.
When it all comes down to it, it's really about this. The allure of the easy button. That promise of a quick fix. It's always going to be tempting. I get it. But that sugar high is fleeting. It never lasts. The real, sustainable path to growth, it's the daily grind of operational excellence. It's not sexy, but it works.
So I'll leave you with this one last question to think about. When you really look at your dealership's strategy, is your marketing just a tool you use, or are you building a complete theater? One that earns a customer's trust long before the first handshake ever happens? Because honestly, the answer to that question could be the difference between just surviving and truly thriving.